Welcome to my channel Mintage Mysteries, where every coin has a hidden story. If you love discovering hidden treasures and uncovering coin secrets, you're in the right place. We're on a quest to solve the puzzles behind the world's most fascinating coins. From rare errors to legendary rarities, let's dive into the mysteries of numismatics. The 1990 D. Lincoln 1 cent represents a small but meaningful chapter in the long history of American coinage, reflecting both continuity and change within the United States Mint at the close of the 20th century. Struck at the Denver Mint, as indicated by the D mint mark, this coin belongs to the Lincoln Memorial Cent series, which had been in production since 1959. Although the 1990 D cent does not mark a major redesign or a dramatic historical event, it embodies the economic, technological, and artistic decisions that shaped everyday currency during this period. The history of the Lincoln cent itself begins in 1909, when it was first introduced to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. It was the first regularly circulating United States coin to feature a real historical person rather than a symbolic figure. Designed by sculptor Victor David Brenner, the original Lincoln cent featured Lincoln's profile on the obverse, a design that has endured, with minor modifications, for more than a century. By the time the 1990 D cent was struck, Lincoln's portrait had become one of the most recognizable images in American numismatics, symbolizing unity, perseverance, and democratic ideals. The year 1990 falls within a period when the United States Mint was focused heavily on efficiency and mass production. Pennies were widely used in everyday transactions, and billions were struck annually to meet public demand. The Denver Mint played a crucial role in this process, producing hundreds of millions of cents each year. The 1990 D. Lincoln cent was minted in very large quantities, making it a common coin in circulation. Despite its abundance, it remains a useful reference point for collectors studying late 20th century minting practices, quality control, and material changes. The composition of the 1990 D. Lincoln cent reflects a significant shift that had occurred less than a decade earlier. Prior to 1982, Lincoln cents were primarily composed of 95% copper, with the remaining 5% consisting of tin and zinc. Rising copper prices in the late 1970s and early 1980s made this composition increasingly expensive. In response, the Mint transitioned to a copper-plated zinc planchet. By 1990, this change was well established. The 1990 D cent is composed of 97.5% zinc with a thin outer plating of 2.5% copper. This composition gives the coin the familiar reddish-brown appearance of earlier copper cents while significantly reducing production costs. Physically, the coin weighs 2.5 grams and has a diameter of 19.05 millimeters, with a plain edge. These specifications were carefully chosen to maintain consistency in size and appearance so that the new zinc-based cents would function seamlessly in vending machines and coin-operated devices. The thin copper plating, while visually appealing, is relatively delicate, and over time many circulated examples of the 1990 D cent show signs of wear, corrosion, or plating damage, especially if the zinc core becomes exposed. The design of the 1990 D. Lincoln cent is defined by the Lincoln Memorial reverse, which had replaced the earlier wheat ears design in 1959. On the obverse, Lincoln's right-facing portrait remains largely faithful to Brenner's original model, though subtle refinements were made over the decades to improve striking quality. The inscriptions include, "In God We Trust," along the top, "Liberty," to the left of Lincoln, and the date to the right, with the D mint mark positioned just below the date. These elements are arranged to balance symbolism, readability, and aesthetic tradition. The reverse design features the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C., a powerful symbol of national remembrance and unity. Designed by Frank Gasparo, the memorial is depicted with notable architectural detail, including the suggestion of columns and steps. At the center of the memorial, a small seated statue of Lincoln is visible, making this one of the few U.S. coins to depict the same individual on both sides. The inscriptions "United States of America" and "1 cent" frame the design, with "E pluribus unum" placed above the memorial. By 1990, this reverse had become familiar to generations of Americans, reinforcing a sense of continuity in circulating coinage. While the 1990 D. Lincoln cent is not considered rare, it holds value as a historical artifact of its era. It reflects the Mint's response to economic pressures, the endurance of a classic design, and the role of the penny in everyday American life. For collectors, it offers insight into modern mass production and the challenges of maintaining quality in high-volume coinage. For the general public, It serves as a reminder that even the smallest denomination carries history, design intent, and national symbolism within its modest form. The 1990 D. Lincoln 1 cent is generally viewed as an ordinary coin, one that passed unnoticed through millions of hands during everyday transactions. At first glance, nothing about it suggests rarity or extraordinary value. It was struck in enormous numbers at the Denver Mint, during a time when the penny was still essential to commerce. Because of this, most people assume that every example is worth only face value. However, within the world of numismatics, rarity is not always about how many coins were made, but about how many survived with unusual characteristics, exceptional preservation, or unexpected errors. The rarity of certain 1990 D. Lincoln cents begins with condition. While billions were produced, very few were saved in pristine, untouched state. Most entered circulation immediately, where contact with other coins, moisture, and handling caused wear and damage. Coins that remain in flawless mint state condition, especially those graded at the very top of the grading scale, are extremely scarce. Collectors place a premium on perfection, and even tiny marks or weak strikes can dramatically reduce a coin's desirability. As a result, the finest known examples of the 1990 D cent stand apart from the vast sea of ordinary pieces. Beyond condition, minting errors play a major role in determining rarity and value. Errors occur when something goes wrong during the production process, such as misaligned dies, improper planchets, or mechanical malfunctions. In the case of the 1990 D. Lincoln cent, collectors have identified examples with off-center strikes, broad strikes, die cracks, double dies, and missing or distorted design elements. These errors were never intended to leave the mint, and many were caught and destroyed. Those that escaped are rare by nature, and their uniqueness makes them highly desirable. Another factor influencing rarity is composition anomalies. By 1990, Lincoln cents were supposed to be struck on zinc cores with copper plating. Any deviation from this standard, such as an improperly prepared planchet or a wrong metal strike, would be extraordinarily rare. Coins with unusual weight, thickness, or metal content are closely studied and authenticated, and confirmed examples can command astonishing prices. The possibility that a small number of coins may have been struck under abnormal conditions fuels collector interest and ongoing research. High values associated with the 1990 D. Lincoln cent are therefore not based on the typical coin, but on exceptional cases. Certified mint state examples with top-tier grades have sold for thousands of dollars, reflecting intense competition among collectors who seek the best-known specimens. Error coins, depending on the type and severity of the mistake, can also reach five-figure prices. Each sale reinforces the idea that even a modern, common-date penny can become valuable when rarity is introduced through quality or error. Over time, stories began to circulate within collector circles and online forums about a single, extraordinary 1990 D. Lincoln cent that stood above all others. According to these accounts, the coin possessed a combination of extreme rarity, perfect condition, and a dramatic minting anomaly unlike any other known example. As the story goes, this cent attracted the attention of elite collectors and investors, driving its perceived value higher with each retelling. The legend grew, transforming an everyday coin into an object of fascination and speculation. The climax of this narrative often ends with a dramatic claim that a 1990 D. Lincoln 1 cent was sold at auction for $2 million. This figure is repeated as proof that hidden treasures can still be found in pocket change and that modern coins should never be underestimated. The idea captures the imagination, suggesting that a humble penny could rival the prices of the rarest gold coins or early American issues. However, when examined closely, this claim exists more as a rumor than a documented fact. No verified public auction records confirm a $2 million sale of a 1990 D. Lincoln cent. What the story truly reveals is how rarity, mystery, and hope can combine to elevate an ordinary object into legend. The real value of the 1990 D. Lincoln cent lies not in an unproven headline price, but in the genuine, measurable premiums paid for exceptional and authenticated examples. In that sense, the coin teaches an important lesson. Extraordinary value is possible, but only when rarity is real, proven, and supported by evidence. If you enjoyed today's exploration, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more coin discoveries, and share this video with fellow collectors. And as always, keep searching for those hidden treasures in your change. You never know when you might stumble upon the next big mystery.